So yesterday we created a project and data stores, and we created a replication job. So in today's session, I'll right click on the project, click new, and click on data flow. Now what is a data flow? A data flow is where you can define the ETL process. Click on the data flow and give the name for the data flow. Let's provide the name and the description and click finish. So once we click finish, then here you would see readers, loaders, platform transform, and data integrated transforms. So whenever you would like to read data from source tables, you can click on the table reader, drag and drop onto the work area. You can select the data store from which you would like to read the table. Click on the data store. I would like to read from ECC. What is the table that you would like to read? I click on this icon and select. C1 IDA table. Double click on the table and click OK. So now you have a table over here. Now what I would like to do is, now if you right click on the table and click view data, when you can view data from the table. So it is fetching C1 IDA data from ECC. BODS doesn't hold data, but only it is fetching data in runtime. So let us wait to see this data. Just trying to retrieve the data. So when you click on the distinct values, now when you select, let's find for BUKRS. Now you see there are different company codes in this table. So you see there are different company codes like 1000, 3000, 2400. All these are different company codes that you have in this table. So what I would like to do is now, based on company codes, I would like to send data to different sources. So now here you can use a case transform. Now if you only want to select required columns from the table, you can select query transform. So what a query transform does is, you can join filter data from multiple sources, map and transform data from source to target columns. So just select the query transform and drag and drop to the work area and link the table to the query transform. So now with the query transform, you can select the required columns to the output. So let us select K and DNR. I'm just selecting the required columns. Let me select, or I won't take K and DNR, let me delete this. Let me take BUKRS. Select, drag and drop into the output schema. And then select VKORG, drag and drop to the output schema, and VV010, select, drag and drop, VV070, drag and drop. So in the input schema, here you see there are different columns. There are various columns in the input schema. Now what are we trying to do? We are just trying to select the required columns to the output schema. Now after this query transform is done, now I would like to take case transform. Select case transform and drag and drop onto the work area and link query with case transform. So from the query, this is the input schema and this is the properties of the case transform. So I would like to create different cases. So let me click on new. So when company code is equal to 1000, when company code is equal to 1000, I'll select BUKRS, drag and drop into the filters expressions, and let's say when company code is equal to 1000, this should go to a different table, and this is the expression for this. When company code is equal to 2400, so let me select BUKRS again, drag and drop into the filters expressions and specify 2400. Okay, so in this way, whatever the company codes that you see in the C1 IDA, you can specify again new, again say company code 2500, select BUKRS, drag and drop to the filters expressions and give 2500. So now here we have given three cases: 1000, 2400 and 2500. Now here you see in the loaders, you see there is an option called template table. A template table is automatically created by system based on the source structure. It automatically creates by the system based on the source structure. So I'll select template table, drag and drop. So loader means you are loading data to these target tables. Readers, you're reading data from these tables. Now where do you want to load data? I would like to load data, I would like to load data to HANA. Double click on HANA. Now what is the schema in where you would like to create this table? I would like to create the table in HANA user. Provide the table name, the name of the table in the HANA user schema. I'll give it as company code underscore 1000 and click OK. So this is one table I would like to load data. Now I also would like to load data to non-SAP systems. So let me right click on the project, new, and click on data store. So I could create additional data stores. Click data store and provide the data store name as MS SQL. Click next. Data store type database. Select the database type as Microsoft SQL Server. In here, provide the database server name. Provide the database server name. The database server name is client, which is small case. Database name is, yesterday we created db555. Username db555 and password db555. Yesterday, if you remember, we created this. So we created client. Sorry, this is the database server name, username and password, and click on test connection. So once you click on test connection test succeeded. Click close and click finish. Now this is the data store that is created. You see there's the data store MS SQL. So we go back to the data flow. In data flow, we have one table that is being loaded to HANA. It will have the company code that is related. It will have the company code data for 1000. Let me right click on this, right click new, and again select template table. So this time I would select the data store, select MS SQL, double click, provide the table owner name DBO. DBO is the table owner name, and in this table I would like to load company code data that is related to 2400, and click OK. And one more table I would like to create, new template table, again HANA, and select HANA, table owner HANA user, table name company code 2000 2500, and click OK. Now if the condition do not satisfy, if either the condition is not satisfying, you have other company codes, then it should go to a different table where when the condition do not satisfy, again create template table, data store, select HANA, table owner HANA user, and data when it is not satisfying, I will load to company code. So here you have 4 tables. Now link case, link to the first table. So all the company codes related to 1000 should go to this table. All the company codes related to 2400 should go in here, and same way, and also to company code, which is default. Now in this case, now you have table, query, case transform. Just give me 1 minute, please. You have case transform. So you have the company code is equal to 1000. It loads to the respective tables. Now finally, let's click validate. Validation successful. Click close. Save. Click on save and click execute. And click. So this is the job. And click finish. Now once you finish, now it will start loading based on the conditions to these different tables. Let's wait till the job is executed. In meanwhile, let us go to HANA and check for these tables. So it's basically running the job. So let me go to HANA and check for these tables. So let's go to start, click on HANA Studio. Click on HANA Studio, right click on the system and click log on. Provide the username and password. HANA user, welcome 1234 and click OK. So once you click OK, now you got connected to system. Now expand the catalog. Let's go to the schema, HANA user schema. Let's expand the schema. Expand tables folder. What is the schema? HANA user schema. Expand this and expand tables. So what is the table we just created? Let's go to BODS to check whether the job is successful or not. Job is successful. Click view trace log to see the log. The job is completed successfully. So let's go back to data flow. And so what is the table that we have over here? Let's click on this. Let's copy the table name. Go back to HANA Studio. Right click on the tables folder and click filters. Copy paste the table name. Click on whole word and click OK. So there's a table that is created by BODS. Right click, open data preview. Click on distinct values. Click on BUKRS. So how many values now you have in this table? So we are basically splitting based on company code. And the company code is 1000. The count of values that you have in the table is 54,563 records. Click on analysis, BUKRS, and the gross revenue. And this is sales org. Sales organizations in this company code. So now you have only company code that is 1000 in this table. So it's in the similar fashion. You also have, now we loaded one to MS SQL. So this is, we loaded to MS SQL database. We have MS SQL database. So let me click on start. Click on SQL Server Management Studio. Let's provide the login DB555 and same password. Click connect. Expand database. Let's go to the database DB555. Expand databases. Expand tables. So here we should be able to find the table that we just created, which is the company code. What is the name of the table? Company code 2400. So here you have the table, company code underscore 2400. Right click on the table and select top 1000 rows. Now you see you'll have company code, where company code is equal to 2400. So in the same way, when the condition do not satisfy, so you have one table over here, only company code table. When condition does not satisfy, let's go to HANA Studio, right click on tables, filters, copy paste company code, click OK. So this is the table. Right click, open data preview, click distinct values. Now you see all the remaining company codes, 3000, 6000, 2000, all the remaining company codes. Click on analysis or raw data. So all the remaining company codes are there in the. So in this way you can use case transform where you can route rows to multiple targets based on case expression. See the definition, you can use case transform to route rows to multiple targets based on case expression. Now let us see one more example. Now this time let us see merge. You see another transform called merge. Now what is merge? Use merge transform to combine incoming datasets, producing a single output dataset with the same schema as the input datasets. So let us create one example for merge transform. So basically combining the datasets, right click on the project, new, click on data flow. Let's create another transform, merge, click finish. Now once you click merge, then let's select tables, expand the data store ECC, expand the tables, select both these tables, drag and drop to the work area. So you have two tables which is CE1 and CE2. Now let's take two query transforms, query transform 1 and query transform 2, query and query transform 1, link C1 IDA to query and C2 IDA to query. And let's take merge transform, drag and drop to the work area, link query to merge and query 1 to merge. So when you select query, when you select the query transform, now what columns do you want to merge? So I would like to merge BUKRS, same. I would like to merge VKORG, or you can also take distribution channels, VTWEG. You can take divisions, SPRT, and let's take few measures, VV010, drag and drop, and VV070. Select, drag and drop. So these are the output columns I've taken in the query. So we need to maintain the same sequence. We need to maintain the same sequence for the second one as well. The prerequisite when doing merge, you need to have the same sequence. The columns needs to have the same data type and length. So let's go to the second one. So let's company code VKORG, distribution channel division and revenue. So let's click on the query one and let me do the same selections. BUKRS, drag and drop VKORG, drag and drop, and the other columns distribution channel and division and VV01, 0001, VV07, 0001. So once done, now here when I click on the query one, so these are the output columns, 6 columns. In query also you have 6 columns. Now click merge now. Let's click on merge. So once you click on merge, now you see there are two input. One is the query and the query one. Now based on these two input schema, query and query one, this is the output schema that system has proposed. Now finally, the combined data, what we will do now, in the query, I'll just try to create an additional column, new field. I'll create a new field and give the name for the field. Let me provide the name for the field, which is indicator, and I will give a constant value for this. Let me give a constant value which is actual, and let me click on query 1, click on new field again. Just I'm creating additional columns over here, indicator, which this one is plant data. So once you have done, finally click merge, and you see there's an additional column where you created for query as well as for query 1. So this is the additional column which will differentiate rows coming from query and query 1, which is actual and plant data. And finally, so this is the added column that you see, actual, plant, and finally it's available in the merge. So let's take the template table, drag and drop to the work area, select the data store, Hana, provide the table owner name, Hana user, provide the table name, jet actual underscore plan underscore copa underscore data. So in this table we are combining the results of both actual and plan data into a single fact table, and click OK. And then link merge with the target template table, and finally click on validate. Validation successful. There are two warnings. Let's see what are the warnings. Close, expand the warnings. So what does it say here? The names are different for columns. So it says the measures in the first query, here, if you see, it has VV0, 10 and 70. So in the bottom you see the query here, VV01 0001 and 7 VV07 0001. So it's saying that the measures have a different technical names. So it's only a warning, so you can avoid and then proceed to execute the job and click finish. Once you click finish, now it's trying to combine data from both these sources. The job is running. Job is successful. Click on view trace log and click on job is completed successfully. Here you see. Let's go back to HANA Studio and let's search for the table. So what is the name of the table that we have given here? Let's go back and let's copy paste the table. Let's copy the table. Right click on the tables and click filters. Now you see when I'm executing the job, I'm executing in the foreground. Usually when working on the project, we don't execute in foreground. we schedule these jobs in background. So all the job scheduling is done at Data Services Management Console. You have a separate UI, I'll show you later tomorrow, where you can schedule these jobs in background. So every day when these jobs are running, they basically do based on the scheduled, the jobs run in the background, but later we can monitor these jobs. If any issues are there, you can manually correct them and then re-execute the job again. But otherwise all these jobs are running in the background based on the scheduled time. Let me copy paste the table, click whole word, and finally click OK. Now you see the table that is just created. Right click on the table, open data preview, click on analysis. You want to see what is the actual and plan for gross revenue. So this is the actual and plan for gross revenue. If you want to see based on sales organizations, based on different sales organizations, it is showing you both actual as well as plan. So if you want to see table, if you want to filter on a particular sales organization, this is actual and plan for sales organization 001. So we're just trying to merge data from different sources or from the same source, and then we created a target table and loaded data. Now let's see, when you want to cleanse data, you have something called basic cleanse. Now using basic cleanse transform, you can easily remove unwanted characteristics such as leading spaces, nulls, control characteristics, and also you can replace values. So let us do one example for basic cleanse. Whenever you'd like to do data cleansing, you can use basic cleanse. So let's go back. To Microsoft SQL Management Studio. So let me create one table with all nulls, and let me create a sample table in MS SQL. Let us right click on tables. I'm creating a new table. And then let me give the column name. So we created 4 columns, and let me save this table. Let me change the data types. Varchar, that was due decimal. Let me save the table. Let us save this table. Click OK. So I just saved the table. Let me enter some sample data into these tables. Let's so here you have sales order details. Let me right click on the table and click edit top 200 rows. So I'll just try to give some sample data over here, like say Mac. I'll just take some spaces, and then I'll just try to take John, and then for John I'll try to take some column and then double quotes. I'm just trying to give double quotes, single quotes, and then in the materials M01 dollars, and then M02 I'll take at the rate. I'm just trying to create some junk values. I created 3 records over here, and then I'll save this table. Let's select, right click and execute. The table is saved. So I'll copy the table. I'll go to BODS, double click on MS SQL data store, click on tables, import the table. Let's import the table from MS SQL to BODS and click finish. So once you click finish, importing of this table is done. Save. Now the table is imported. The table which I created in the MS SQL I imported in BODS. Now let me create a data flow. Right click on the project, new, create data flow, and let's give the name for data flow. Give the name and description and click finish. Now let's select the table and drag and drop, import as source, basically taking this table as a source. Let's link query transform, link table to query, and let's select basic lens, drag and drop, link query to basic lens, and then let's create a new template table. New, let's select the template table. I want to create this table in Hana and give the table owner name, Hana user, and give the table name, which is sales order details, and click OK. So link basic lens with sales order details. So let's click query. So now what I'm going to do, so let's click query and select all the columns, all the incoming columns, and drag and drop into the query transform. Now in the basic lens, you see this is the properties of the basic lens, but currently I'm not doing anything to the basic lens properties. So now we are at the template table. So currently I'm not doing any configuration. I'll just leave it as it is. I'll just save and just click on execute. I'm not doing anything, just I'm finishing this job. So first I will see whether I can load all this junk data to HANA. First let me load all this junk data to HANA. So once I load, then later it is successful, completed successfully. And when I go back to HANA Studio, if I go back to HANA Studio, and then here I'll select the table sales order details. I'll go back to HANA Studio. Right click on the tables folder, filter, copy the table name, and click OK. So let's see the data in the table now. Right click, open data preview. You see still this, all this junk data is being loaded into HANA system. So do you see any cleansing activity that is default done by the system? Let's check once. You see in the Mac there is a space. You see there is a space. Okay, the space is removed. You see there is a single quote near John that is been removed, and also at mode there is double quote, and double quote also is removed. But the M01, the dollar is there, at the rate is there, and M04 exclamatory mark is also there. So in order to cleanse this data now, we can go back to BODS, click on basic cleanse. Now why it automatically removed the space is because by default for every column it does the following activities. Leading spaces are removed, tailing spaces are removed, single quotes, double quotes, control characteristics, all these are removed by default. That's why you don't see the space, single quotes and double quotes. Now let us come to MATNR. Now in order to cleanse data, I would click new. So what are the target characteristics that we have? Dollar, at the rate, and exclamatory mark. So what I will do, I'll give dollar, I'll give the exclamatory mark, and then I will provide the other one is the at the rate. So I'll provide at the rate. So I'm basically searching this and replacing with blank. We're doing it the basic cleanse. Click validate, close, and click execute, and click finish. So let's check again whether the data in the target is cleansed or not. Job is running. View trace log, completed successfully. Let's go back to HANA, and now let's refresh. Now you see, now this is the source data when we try to load, and this is the cleansed data in the target system. So in this fashion you can cleanse data using basic cleanse to remove unwanted characteristics. So whenever you load table, it drops the table and recreates the new table. So let's see. So if anyone have any questions for today's session, please ask me.